In a world filled with noise and division, it's easy to miss the quiet currents that have shaped our modern lives. We're about to explore 10 profound ways Christianity made the world a better place. But what if the biggest things we take for granted, the very foundations of our society, like hospitals, universities, and even human rights, came from a story you probably haven't been told in its entirety? A narrative often buried under centuries of debate and controversy. We're diving deep into overlooked facts and misunderstood history, separating myth from reality. We will uncover 10 massive contributions from Christianity that shaped our world in ways you never imagined. These aren't just abstract theories or philosophical ideas. We're talking about measurable, tangible impact that affects billions of people today. So get ready to see history differently. This isn't a typical lecture or a sermon. It's an evidence-based journey. We'll bust common myths and present the hard numbers behind the claims. We'll trace a direct line from ancient practices to the global systems that save lives in modern hospitals, educate millions in world-class institutions, and deliver critical aid to the most vulnerable. The story is more complex, more surprising, and far more relevant than you might think. So buckle up. Every second of this journey is designed to give you a new, clearer perspective on the world we all share. Let's get into it. Number 1. A common myth is that organized healthcare is a purely modern invention. The reality is far older. Christians, driven by the radical command to care for the sick and love their neighbor as themselves, pioneered the very concept of dedicated institutions for healing. Long before state-run systems, monasteries were the guardians of medical knowledge, meticulously preserving ancient texts. They established infirmaries that didn't just serve their own, but opened their doors to pilgrims, travelers, and the local poor, offering a level of care previously unknown. These early blueprints for compassionate care evolved, laying the groundwork for the public hospital system. Today, that legacy continues in vast, faith-based healthcare networks that operate thousands of hospitals and clinics, serving millions of people around the globe. Number 2. Another myth, that universities are purely secular inventions, born from the Enlightenment. The truth is, their roots dig much deeper into Christian soil. Reality, the world's first universities grew directly out of cathedral schools and monastic centers of learning. These were not just places of religious instruction, they were vibrant intellectual hubs where faith and reason were seen as partners in the pursuit of truth. They established the foundational structures we still recognize: formal curricula, faculties, the granting of degrees, and a culture of rigorous scholarly debate. This model of higher learning, forged in a Christian worldview, profoundly shaped the intellectual development of Western civilization. Number 3. The myth that large-scale organized charity is a recent phenomenon, a product of modern wealth and government programs. The reality, structured almsgiving and systematic care for the vulnerable were core Christian practices from the very beginning. This wasn't just random acts of kindness, but an organized, community-wide commitment to supporting the poor, the widowed, and the orphan. This spiritual discipline led to the creation of the first orphanages, hospices for the dying, and systemic food relief programs, which later grew into the non-governmental organizations, or NGOs, that we know today. Today, Christian NGOs like World Vision and Samaritan's Purse rank among the largest and most effective global responders to crisis and poverty. Number 4. The myth that the abolition of slavery was a purely secular and political movement. The reality, while many forces were at play, the moral engine of the abolitionist movement was overwhelmingly powered by Christian conviction. Leaders like William Wilberforce were driven by the non-negotiable belief that all people are created in the image of God and therefore possess inherent dignity and worth. This theological principle was a fire that could not be contained. Churches and religious networks became the primary organizing force, mobilizing public opinion through petitions, rallies, and relentless political pressure to pass laws abolishing the horrific slave trade, and eventually, the institution of slavery itself. Number 5. The myth that international humanitarian aid is a field dominated only by governments and secular groups like the Red Cross or the UN. The reality, Christian agencies are often among the very first responders on the ground. They are able to deploy within hours of a disaster, leveraging a unique global infrastructure, a pre-existing network of local churches and trusted community leaders. This allows them to move with incredible speed and efficiency. They airlift entire field hospitals, deliver tons of food, establish clean water sources, provide emergency shelter, and stay for the hard work of long-term development. From building classrooms and funding education, to digging wells and leading disease prevention campaigns, the work serves millions of people of all faith and none. Objective data confirms it. Faith-based organizations are not a minor player. They are a powerhouse delivering a substantial and indispensable slice of all global aid. Number 6. Science and research. A common myth suggests that Christianity has always been an enemy of scientific progress, but the historical reality is far more nuanced. For centuries, it was church institutions, particularly monasteries, that painstakingly preserved classical knowledge. They birthed the university system, creating spaces that nurtured intellectual inquiry and laid the groundwork for the scientific revolution. Many scientific pioneers, from Gregor Mendel to Georges Lemaitre, were clergy or devout believers who saw their work not as a contradiction of faith, but as a profound way of understanding God's creation. Number 7. Arts and architecture. Was the church a force that only restricted artistic expression? On the contrary, for much of history, the church was the world's largest and most influential patron of the arts. It commissioned masterpieces that defined entire eras, shaping Western architecture, music, and painting. Number 8. Universal rights and dignity. The foundational concept of universal human dignity has deep theological roots, drawing directly from the idea that all people are made in the image of God. This powerful principle, championed by Christian thinkers, was instrumental in shaping legal frameworks and human rights declarations over many centuries. Number 9. Education and literacy. Long before public education was widespread, church and mission schools were opening their doors, often providing the only available classrooms for women in marginalized communities. The result was a dramatic surge in literacy rates and an unprecedented expansion of social mobility for millions who would have otherwise been left behind. And number 10, community and social capital. The role of a church extends far beyond a Sunday service. Congregations consistently function as vital community hubs. They foster networks of trust, encourage high rates of volunteerism, and build local resilience. This is social capital in action, strengthening the very fabric of our neighborhoods. So there you have it. 10 profound ways faith has helped build the pillars of our society, from hospitals and universities to human rights, disaster relief, science, and art. Its influence is quietly, yet powerfully, woven into the world all around us. We hope this journey offered a new perspective. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Which of these facts surprised you the most?